Hi guys on YouTube. I would like to give you all a review of my LG True Steam washing machine FH4A8JDS, and as you can see it's black with a chrome door and chrome buttons. And if we just take a closer look at the dispenser drawer, you can see exactly what it says. It's an inverter direct drive, so what that means is there's no belts, no pulleys, no wear and tear on the machine, so it's going to run very quiet and with a very high performance as well. So as you can see, it's 10 kg drum, True Steam, 6 motion, and it's got a turbo wash as well, which means you can do a wash under an hour. So if we just take a look at it inside, so as you can see, it's a very big drum, very quiet, no whiny sounds or anything like that. So it's very big, and it's got a very fancy drum as well, so it's not like your standard drum where it's just got the normal holes. The drum is designed to really look after your fibers, and really look, it's just a really good, sized drum, and obviously that's the LG drum as well. So so yeah, it's a very big drum. I mean, you could fit a double duvet in there, a lot of jeans. So it does look massive, but you can easily fill it, and it still spins quite well as well. So if we look at the actual programs that it's got, so we can see clearly that it's got the cotton, and then it's got cotton large, mix, easy care, duvet, allergy care, and steam refresh. Now, particularly, let's just switch it on. So whenever you switch it on, it lights up and it makes a nice playful tune as well. So particularly the program that I quite like is, I love this steam refresh button. So what that means is you can put up to 3 items in the drum. So that could be a shirt, it could be a pair of work trousers, could be anything at all that's not too big. So a blouse, a shirt, work trousers, anything like that. So what that'll do then, that just freshens up those items just by using pure steam. So that's what they mean by the steam refresh cycle, and it's a 20-minute cycle as well. So if we just close the door, it basically shuts like a car door. It's not particularly hard to open, and it's very robust, very strong as well, so it's not going to let you down. So these programs can be all selected to do the steam function, and the steam button is there, so I have it selected. So if we just go through the options here, so it does a duvet, which is very good. That's the actual control panel itself. So you've got your different wash performances there, so you can have intensive, normal, turbo wash. You can have a temperature any range from cold to 95 degrees. The only thing that I do miss is having the 30-degree option. I do like to wash most things at 30 degrees, that's like jeans and darks. Everything else I would do at 60 or mainly 40, it just depends what I'm washing, but I'm not a dirty person, so I don't really need anything too high, but I still like to do bedding my towels at 60, that should be pretty standard. And then we've got the rinse options as well, so we can have anything from 2 rinses up to 3 rinses up to 4 rinses. Then you've got a rinse and hold, which is very good, particularly if you're doing a wash and if you think you're not going to be home in time, it's going to leave it in the water, so it's going to still be fresh, it's not going to smell or anything like that. So whenever you come back, all you need to do is hit the start button, and then it starts the drain and onto the spin. The next one that we've got here is the spin option. So it goes from no spin up to 1400. I generally like to use 1400. If I was to change it now, it doesn't. The maximum for this cycle is 1000 RPM, and that is on the duvet. The other handy program is, I like the sportswear. I do a lot of running and a lot of jogging. So I mean, that's going to look after all my Lycra gear, my running gear, my jogging gear. So it's going to replicate the movement for each fabric and for each program that you select for whatever. And the next one that I quite like is the dark cycle. Now these are cycles that are preset, so it's not going to terribly weigh the water levels. It's just going to throw in the water that it needs, really. So it doesn't really weigh. So as you can see, it takes an hour and 1 minute. But for people who may be worried about the temperature, you can actually go up to 40 degrees. You can't go any higher than that because it's obviously dark wash. Sometimes I have left it on at 20 degrees. Sometimes I've increased it up to 40 degrees. The rinse is really up to. It depends on the load size, but I generally have it on the rinse plus, so that will do 3 rinses. Again, the spin in this can be changed. It does, although it says 800, it doesn't have to do 800. I just automatically go up to 1400 because I like my clothes to come out dry, and there's not too much dampness as well. I mean, although it is a 1400 spin, I am used to 1600 spin machines. This particular model is awarded an A for spin performance, A for energy, and also A triple plus energy, which you can see here on the sticker that it provides. So it is a very, very efficient machine, probably the most efficient machine out there. So it's definitely going to be very kind to your pocket and very kind to the environment as well. So if you're very, very cautious about bills and money and eco things, then this machine is definitely going to be your best friend in the kitchen, or where you may place it at home. Other options that we've got here is a pre-wash. So I mean, I have used that once. I'm not a terribly dirty person. I have used it for towels just to give them a wee bit of a sort of kickstart to the wash cycle, enhance the performance as well. Not that it needs it, because there's everything here that you could imagine for. Favorite program. So if I actually click that or select that, it plays a wee tune. And basically what I've done now is, because I've selected my favorite, that's the program that I would use quite a lot. So we have here the cotton, which is just there, and steam selection is selected. I've selected intensive, 60 degrees, extra rinse, 1400 spin as well. So that's ideal for bedding and towels as well. So the other wee thing I will point out to you is these wee symbols here. So you've got that one, which is the steam option selected, and this one is also the steam function. So basically what that means is, once the spin has finished, it then goes on to a steam, so it'll only use steam. So it's basically like you selecting the steam refresh cycle, which is there. Again, it will be for 20 minutes, so it will add that to the cycle time once it's been loaded and weighed. So don't panic too much that it's going to take too long, because really it's just an additional period of the steam just to kind of get those clothes and items very fluffy and bring them up to life again. Ideally that could be used for white towels, any bedding or underwear, socks, anything like that, just to give them a wee bit of a kick. So I mean, any option that is there and any feature that's there, I like to use it, because it's a very inexpensive machine, but it was well worth the money, every penny spent on it. I would like to now pay particular attention to these different features. Okay, so the first one it says here is less vibration. That is very true. It senses the load. It doesn't spin until until the clothes are fixed properly to the drum. So it does weigh. It's pretty standard for any washing machine, really. So that's very handy as well. Precise control. Basically, what that means is temperature control, spin control, anything like that, time control. Everything is basically, this machine knows exactly what it's doing. It's got a brain like a human being. It knows what to do. If it's not happy with something, it'll let you know. So that's also key points to factor in as well. And then the third one we've come to is a tub clean. Now that is specifically for running the machine empty with no clothes in it, with a specific detergent that contains bleach or a descaler. So that could be Calgon, that could be Ariel, or a specific descaler from your local restore or local Euronic store or electrical store. So that could be a hot point descaler or something like that. Now I do use it, to be fair, and it does the job. It fills up with water, boils it up to 95 degrees, and it just rotates the drum very, very fast until just to make sure all the dirt's been gone. Like I said, I'm not a dirty person, so there's not going to be any mold. In fact, if I just open the drum here and just show you, I always do hot washes, so I mean, if you just look there, I mean, that's not dirty at all. I mean, it was on this morning to do a couple of washes. Although that looks yellow, I don't know why, but there's no dirt there. It's just, I just keep my machines looking very clean and tidy. So what happened there was, if the machine is not being active, it'll just switch itself off, so that's very, very handy as well. So as I was saying, like I said there, that was the tub clean. So you basically hold in you just hold in that rinse button for a couple of seconds, then it automatically starts, and then what you need to do is just select start, and then that's it away, gone. And then the last one is load detection, so that will actually weigh the programs, or it'll weigh the clothes that you've got in there, and it'll determine what time or how long it needs. That also includes how many rinses it may need. So although you've got a couple of options here to select, it will detect how many rinses it may need. So really, that is the main features. Now there is one more feature that I would like to mention as well. If, God forbid, this machine ever failed on anything, or just decided not to work one day, what I have noticed is, instead of you ringing up LG or ringing up somebody to fix it, like an engineer, you can actually attach your phone to it, and basically what that's called is that's smart tech. So if you do experience, or if I experience any problems with this machine, the machine will send a message to my phone. Now you obviously have to download the app and put the phone against the machine. It'll then send a signal to your phone. Now it needs to be a smartphone, and it'll actually say what is wrong with it. It could be something simple like the door's not closed properly, and there's too much clothes in there, which I'll never have a problem with because I don't overfill it, or even too much soap. So if the machine is experiencing a lot of foam in there, then it'll display a symbol